I'm going to show you how to make a 6-panel triangle cap from scratch. The first thing we're going to do is grab the top and bottom front panels along with our interfacing. Place the wrong side of the fabric on the interfacing and press it down. Before we trim the interfacing, we're going to add embroidery to the bottom front panel. Now you can grab a pair of scissors and trim the interfacing. Place the bottom panel off to the side and grab the side and back panels. We'll be adding eyelets as vents, so mark out the eyelet placement guides. Punch a hole for the eyelet in each one of the panels. Place the eyelet through the opening. Secure it down using a hammer die or pliers. Repeat this step for the remaining panels. Locate the front two panels, place the right side together, stitch the top curved edge at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. To clean up the raw edge, we're going to be using a bias tape binder. Next, we can grab the back and side panels, place the right side together, lining up the correct edge and stitch at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Add bias tape to these seams as well. Grab all of the crown panels and we're going to sew one of the side panel assemblies to the front panel assembly. Stitch at a 1/4 inch seam allowance and add double fold bias tape. From here, we can sew the remaining side panel assembly to the opposite side of the hat. We'll be sewing the entire side on with one stitch along with the bias tape. This next step is optional. We're going to be attaching a side strip along the bottom edge of the crown. Move to the back opening, and to clean up the raw edge, we're going to add double fold bias tape. Moving on to the brim assembly, cut the fabric larger than the brim, place the right sides together, and trace out your brim. Using the pattern, locate the sew guide, and this is where we're going to be placing our stitch. Trim the fabric a 1/4 inch away from the stitch and flip the right sides out. Press down the fabric and place your brim in the opening. Push the brim in so the fabric is nice and tight, and then we're going to add a stitch along the bottom curved edge along with the top stitching. Now we can grab the complete crown and brim assembly, mark the centers, place the right side together, and stitch along the inside curved edge. The next step is optional. We're going to be adding cord in between the crown and the brim. After sewing on the cord, we can move on to attaching the sweatband. Place the sweatband into your feeder and sew around the bottom edge of the crown. To seal off the sweatband, we'll be adding a closure, so roll the sweatband end over, slide the closure in between the sweatband and the fabric, and stitch it down. Repeat this process for the opposite side. Since I'm using a strap back, I'm going to punch a hole, feed an eyelet through the opening, place my buckle on the eyelet, and press it down. Then all you have to do is feed the strap through the buckle. To finish off the top, we'll be adding a 3-prong cover button. Cut a circle piece of fabric, place it over the die, push the cover button into the opening, add the middle section, and hammer it down. To secure to the hat, use the bottom 3-prong section, and you can either hammer it down or use a press. And lastly, using a hat block, I'm going to place the hat on the block very tightly and steam it on high heat. Let the hat dry, and the inside sweatband should be nice and flush with the outside edges. But other than that, your 6-panel triangle cap is complete.